Afternoon, everyone. Just waiting for everyone to join. Afternoon. Hello, Lynn. Very nice to see you. What a lovely surprise. Did you have a nice lunch? I hope you had a nice lunch. You didn't rush home to do this. But it was so nice to see you. How are you doing? Vicky, hello. How are you doing, my lovely? I hope you're all right. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you, Jasmine. Welcome. The Three Musketeers. Really nice to see you. Who else is here today? Welcome, everyone. Kezia. Nice to see you, Kezia. Nice to see you, Laura. Hello. I'm good, thanks. I had my nails done this morning, so I'm all pink. So that was nice. And my lovely Paige that does my nails. Morning, Mark. Oh, not morning, is it? It's afternoon. Hello, Mark. Nice to see you. Ems, hello. Welcome. Have you? Yes. So Jasmine is asking Vicky, have you got your coffee? Have you all got your coffee? I've got mine. Because we're going to settle down and have a nice hour of chat. Kezia, I'm so glad. I was looking out for you because always you were like number one person who would be there at the beginning, and I've not seen you for a little while. So I was wondering about you and where you were and if everything was all right. So I'm glad that you're here. That is excellent. Thank you, Vicky. Liking my nails. You had your hair done this morning. Lovely. It's just something nice, isn't it? These little things that we do. Self-care is so important. The little things that help us feel good about ourselves. Morning. I put my glasses on because I can't see. Morning, Safia. Safia's wondering what sort of therapy I do. I shall answer that for you, Safia, in just a moment. Hello, Heather. Lovely to see you. Really good. Oh, Emma Jane, nice to see you too. Hope you're feeling better. Hope you're doing all right. It's lovely to see you. Oh, what's that say? You've got my baby cat. Oh gosh. Excellent. Okay, so there's a couple of questions here already. One about what sort of therapy I do, and one from Ed asking advice on addiction, please. Oh, morning, Amy. Afternoon, Amy. So I'll go straight to Ed's one because Ed, I don't work with addiction. It's not an area that I work with, so I'm afraid I can't really help you very much with that. People that I would post you towards, there's a therapist called Hugh Osborne. I don't think he's on here, but if you Google Hugh Osborne addiction, he has some really good stuff on addiction, so it might be worth having a look at that, but I'm afraid it's not an area that I'm knowledgeable about at all. Emma Jane, I'm really glad that you've got a lot of self-care going on. Good to hear that. I think people always say, sometimes when I say to my clients about self-care, and they sort of, you can see them thinking, oh, self-care, schmelf-care, but it really does help to create an environment of safety for our nervous systems. So it's really, really worth just the little things, making yourself a cup of coffee, to sitting down to drink it, having your nails done, if you want to have your nails done. If that's not your cup of tea, then you don't have to do that at all. What I would say is welcome to everyone who's here. Thank you for coming along. My name's Sarah. I'm a QCH therapist, and that is a therapist who is trained with the Quest Institute, and it stands for Quest Cognitive Hypnotherapy. It's not like traditional hypnotherapy, it's more of a framework, a talking therapy that helps a client very practically move from where they are now to where they want to be, using a framework of different models such as EFT or tapping, things like NLP, timeline, rewind, lots and lots of therapeutic techniques, really depending on the client and what their needs are. So I'm here today to talk about anxiety, self-care, anything else that you would like to ask me. I'll do my best to answer you. If I don't know the answer, then I will tell you I don't know. I'm not going to try and blag my way through anything. For me, it's really important to be honest. And although I have really good training and I work with people, and all of us as QCH therapists work really successfully with people, we know our boundaries, we know our limits. You know, we're not trained to the same level as a psychologist or a psychotherapist, for example. And so there's certain cases, certain types of stuff that's going on for people which we wouldn't work with because our training doesn't extend that far. And that includes things like bipolar disorder, any form of psychosis, personality disorders, that sort of thing. So I am joined here, you might have heard me talking to 3 really lovely people who give up their time every week to come and join us. And so that's Lynn 250, Vicky Hodgson and Jasmine. They come on here as moderators to keep this a really lovely safe space, and I am eternally grateful. We've been together for, I don't know, chaps, how long? It's got to have been over a year, hasn't it? Maybe a year and a half. I don't really know how long we've been together. It just seems like forever. But I'm so grateful. They're not therapists, but they have a lot of life experience which they can share. I sort of answer the therapy session questions, and they're doing lots of keeping up with the comments because the comments come quite quickly at times. Yeah, I'm very grateful that they keep this a safe space. And talking of safe spaces, this definitely is a place for kindness, for community, for support of one another. If anyone is on here and thinks that they're, going to be funny, as in, not so nice, a bit mean, taking the mick out of someone, then there is no tolerance of that. It's really a case of, we might give you a chance of muting you for 5 minutes, and if you come back and you're just mean, then you're gone, blocked. So sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes, like I made a mistake a while ago. I was like, oh my God, I touched the screen and blocked someone who asked a really nice question and had come back to say that everything was going really well for them. So that was terrible. So we do sometimes make mistakes. So if we do make a mistake, then please come back and tell us, and we'll rectify it. So let's have a look at some of these questions. Thank you for saying I'm glowing. It's probably overflow of bronzer and blusher, to be honest with you, more than anything else. And Bella Ellis says, hi Sarah, I've been watching you a lot recently, you've been so helpful. That is so lovely to hear. Thank you very much for letting me know. That is good to know, and I'm glad. I hope that you're all right. I can't see you. Oh, it's gone. Let's have a look. Someone was saying about the tapping video, and I have it annoys me so much that this because it basically flies through. Like I touch the screen and it all flies through. Okay, so but someone was saying that they enjoyed the tapping video that I did. So I'm really glad. Oh, Tanya, there you go. Tanya, I'm really glad that you enjoyed the tapping video. And Ed, I'm really sorry that I can't help you more with your question about addiction. But it wouldn't be right for me to comment on something that really I don't work with. So do stay. Hopefully, maybe some of the other stuff we talk about will be helpful. Ellen, I'm really glad that you're liking these. That's lovely. Debbie Rivard, hello, lovely to see you. So a couple of questions here. One about my skincare routine. Okay, I love skincare. I've been doing my skincare routine since when I was 14, 15, when I got my first job, spent my first money on cleanser and moisturiser. And so for the last 45 years, I have been, I just am really consistent with looking after my skin. So I just use like a Tropic, which is a vegan cleanser, cleanse my skin, wash it off with a wet flannel, I do like a spray toner thing. And then at the moment I'm using, there's an Estee Lauder, the night serum, the advanced night repair. My God, it's amazing. And it makes my skin feel lovely. And then I can't remember the name of the Estee Lauder moisturiser. So it's my one extravagance. I really like it. But thank you for asking. Thank you for thinking my skin looked nice, because I've worked for 45 years on making it look nice. Oh, and SPF, always use an SPF. Right, so someone asked, what is a QCH therapist? I've answered that. What did I do in university to get to where I am now? Actually, when I went to uni, I went for the first 2 years, and it was really, I hated it. Academically, I was successful. I did history of art and classics. I did the first 2 years and dropped out in the summer holidays before the third year because I just couldn't do it anymore. I was so miserable. So I left without my degree, and then I went back in my 40s and I went with the Open University and I did a degree in English literature. So that's what I did. So it's got nothing at all to do with what I'm doing now. The training that I did was at the Quest Institute, and obviously every year I do at least 2 training courses each year. At the moment I'm doing a training on persistent pain, and then later on this year I'm going to be doing training with compassion focused therapy. So that's what I've been doing, and also some safeguarding training I've been doing at the moment. So let me have a look, see, answer some more questions. I hope that answers your question a little bit. So Sai, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. You've got a little teddy bear next to your name. Is it normal to hyperventilate when having panic attack or due to anxiety? So I'm going to write that down because, so let's see, Sai, is it normal to hyperventilate? Okay, I will come back and answer your question. I saw another one here from Laura Jane, and Laura Jane says, I can't seem to allow myself to give myself self-care. I'm at the bottom of the pile, but I'm fine with that. Okay. So I think a lot of people find self-care quite tricky. So I'm going to come back and talk about self-care a little bit, Laura Jane, if you can stick around. If you're just dipping in and you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, I'm quite interested in this, but I haven't got time to be sat here all Friday afternoon watching, then don't worry, because I always upload these to my YouTube account, which is Sarah Fri Therapy. And if you have a look at some point, if you follow me, which would be really lovely, if you follow me, then you'll see that there's a Linktree link on my profile page, which takes you through to, there's links to my YouTube channel, there's links to all sorts of free resources, so you can find it via there. So I hope that that's helpful for you. So I'm going to come back to you, Laura Jane 85, and answer that. Alex B, hello, lovely to see you. Let's have a look. It's Elizabeth Malmros, it's so nice to see you. Elizabeth has just finished her laundry and she's joining us from Sweden. So that's amazing. We get people, our community, we are multi-global. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, Debbie Rivard is from America. Elizabeth is from Scandinavia. We've got people from all over the world joining us. So let me know, where are you from? Where are you joining us from? It would be great to know. Emily Thomas, it is so nice to see you. Yeah, I haven't seen you in ages. Really nice to see you. Emma Jane, basically done nothing since Friday. Pajamas, coffee, TV, etc. Well, do you know what? Why not? Sometimes you just need some time like that, don't you, to regroup and get yourself in a place where you feel a little bit steadier. So I'm all for that. My weekend is going to be a lot like that. So good on you. I hope you're all right. Lovely to see you, Emma Jane. So Angel Kate 13 says, just joined, what's this about? So I was just saying, I'm Sarah, I'm a therapist. We have this every Friday. We have a little community chat about anxiety. That's what I specialise in working with, but also self-care. I'll answer any questions people have got, so you're very welcome here. Let's have a look. And oh yes, so Lynn was answering your question too. Thank you, Millie. I try and be kind. You know, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. And I had my nails done today, and I was saying to my nail lady, Paige, who is the loveliest person, that I really lost my temper the other day. I got really annoyed because I'd arranged something, and then I'd had like a really full-on session, and I came out of the session and I was about to go and do this webinar, and lots of people had kind of cried off, the people that were helping me run it, and I just was but you know, and then I thought, oh, should I have been kinder? But I try really hard to be kind. I think we all do, don't we? We all try our best to be nice people. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, Ali! Oh, it's so nice to see you. So Ali was saying, and she's saying here, hi Sarah, it's so nice to see your face. I'm in the psych ward. So it is so lovely to see you, Ali, and I hope everything's going all right. I know it was a really scary thing for you to be going in there. So you're very welcome, and I'm sure all of us are just so happy to see you. So good on you. I hope that they're really nice in there and are helping you. So let me ask you some questions. So Sai said, is it normal to hyperventilate when you're suffering from anxiety? Well, one of the fundamental things about anxiety is that when we go into fight or flight, when we're triggered by whatever it is that's made our nervous system believe that there's real threat, potential threat, we're making a connection with threat from the past, it sends us into fight or flight, and our system is flooded with adrenaline and cortisol, and what that does is it makes our heart beat really quickly, so we get that sort of quick heartbeat, really powerful heartbeat, and we start breathing really quickly. So we may well do a preparatory breath, we may well go like this if it's something that's happening here and now, and then hold our breath. But quite often, and most of the time, what we're going to be doing is breathing like this, quite high up here, and that is hyperventilation. And so yes, that is what can happen, which is why breathing and some of the breathing techniques that I share on my page are so helpful, because getting to practice them when you don't need them as a form of self-care, just to take 5 minutes, a cup of coffee, right, I'm going to do my breathing technique. You know, you can do it with your phone. There's one of the techniques that I do. I don't know if I've got, so let's pretend this is my phone. So I've got this box, pretend this is my phone, and if you breathe in along the short side and then out slowly along the long side, pause, breathe in, pause, long slow out breath. Because what we want is for our out breath to be longer than our in breath, and that can help us. It's completely normal to have that rapid breathing, because what we're trying to do at a completely unconscious level is to get as much oxygen into our bloodstream as possible, so that our heart can send it to our big muscles, so that we can run away or we can fight our way out of a situation. And sometimes if we can't do any of those things, we might go into freeze or flop. Yeah, I hope that helps a little bit, Si. And do have a look at the category on my page which talks about various breathing techniques. Hopefully that can be helpful for you. So I never know how to say your name. So Ene, I think it is. Ene Kenmar. I have bipolar, BPB, dissociation, etc. But I find you a huge support. Thank you. Do you know what? It's so lovely to hear. I mean, I wouldn't dream of sort of trying to give you specific advice, because it's, you know, what's going on for you is beyond my training. But you know, things like self-care, things that, you know, kindness, hopefully I'm really glad that that's made a difference for you. And so thank you so much. It's lovely to have you here, really lovely. Oh yes, and Jasmine's saying, thank you Jasmine. So Jasmine saying that, you know, they've got my 3 minutes of calm videos. And also, I noticed the other day that I can do 10-minute videos. So I've done 2 so far. I've got a 10-minute tapping video, which is much more relaxed than the other ones I've tried to do in 3 minutes. And it's a very sort of vague one. So when I say vague, it means that, you know, basically we're not talking about a specific thing that's going wrong for anyone. So it could help lots and lots of different things that are happening for you. But also there's a 10 minutes of calm with a candle. If you look for the candle on my grid, then hopefully that will be the thing that might be helpful. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, so Laura Jane, you were asking about self-care and saying, oh gosh, you know, it's really difficult to do self-care, and I absolutely get that. You know, their clients, when I say to them, right, well, the first thing I'd like you to do is to begin to connect to self-care, they look at me like I'm just stupid, you know, I haven't got time to be doing self-care, or self-care is really selfish. And actually, I think it's something that all of us, from childhood, we should be being taught that self-care is really important, because what we're doing is we're giving ourselves little oases during our day where we're bathed in those hormones of, you know, things like oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, and that those hormones are the things that tell our nervous system that we're safe. So our level of stress hormones come down and down, and we can keep them at a nice low level. Obviously life happens, and sometimes you're going to be going whoa like this and being triggered into fight or flight, because we all do. I do, you know. But if we are consistently at a level of anxiety that is really difficult and making a huge difficult difference to our everyday life, then self-care is an absolute essential. And when I talk about self-care, start small. You know, this is self-care. The fact that you're watching this video, hopefully you've got a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a glass of water with you so that you can watch this. This is self-care. I always say to my clients, so have a think about how you can connect to these areas in a way that it means every day you're doing something that you really look forward to, you love when you're doing it, and you look back on it and go, oh, I love that, I can't wait to do it again. It's this thing that when you talk about it, your face lights up, and I can see in my clients when I say to them, so what do you do that you love? And they start talking, like I've seen Jasmine and Vicky Hodson talking about the baby cat, and I know for a fact, even though I don't really know for a fact, that when they're talking about that, their faces are lighting up and they're going, oh, baby cat, kitten, how gorgeous, and they're going all fuzzy inside. And that is what we're looking for. Those are the sort of hormones that we're looking for. Okay, so we're looking at how to connect with the right people. Jasmine's saying, I'm going to clean my car after this, and I'm going to come back to that because that is such a good thing. Self-care is not just about, you know, sitting in the lotus position for 3 hours meditating. Self-care is what is self-care for you. And Jasmine, if self-care for you is getting out in the sunshine and washing your car, which I know you love, then that's the feeling, you know, a bit of music playing, and how lovely is that? So connecting with the people that make you feel good, connecting with yourself, beginning to realise who you are, what are the things you love, how can you manage your time, your life, how can you begin to create the life that you want, looking at the animals that you have, looking at nature, looking at exercise, creativity, learning, all of those areas. How can you start to connect to those in a way that feels really good for you? So, and small steps, Laura Jane, you know, I know you say, oh, I'm happy with the fact that I don't do any self-care. Well, that's good. If you feel happy, then that's great. But I would say give it a go, because you'll feel even happier if you do start just to create boundaries around 5-10 minutes here or there. So I hope that makes sense. Let's have a look. Oh, Jess is here. So nice to see you. It is lovely to see you, Jess. I hope you're all right. Jasmine says, me and Vicky just spend all day every day sharing cat pictures and videos. I love that. It's so nice. And the really nice thing is that before we started this community, I don't think you two knew each other, did you? So, you know, I love it that people come together and people come week after week, and I feel like I know you. It's really lovely. Anna Maria says, another question. Sorry, don't need to apologise. I love that you're asking questions. Do you think exercise or simply walking daily helps with anxiety? Yeah. I think that exercise is a really important part of self-management, really, and it's going to be different for all of us. You know, some of us want to go mountain biking and come sliding down a hill all sweaty and you know, all of that kind of stuff, and for others of us it's a nice gentle walk in outside, you know, going to the park or something. I think that exercise takes us out of ourselves, so we connect with our bodies. The way that we work as QCH therapists is very much from a bottom up perspective. Because the way that we work is that the unconscious, or our nervous system, is triggered into protection by stuff that's happening in our environment or might potentially be happening. So in an instant we get that flooding of adrenaline and cortisol, and then our brain might kick in and go, oh, this means this, but we get the feelings first, and quite often sometimes as people sort of go into their heads as protection. You know, you can be very much, all right, I'm going to cut myself off from my body and feeling, because that's a scary place to go. So I'm going to be in my head and I'm going to overthink and I'm going to try and protect myself that way. Whereas actually, if you can get into your body by doing breath work, by doing exercise, by walking, your brain is still processing stuff in the background, but you're much more you're sort of releasing that energy that's flowing through you, if that makes sense. So I hope it does. But yeah, I think exercise is really, really important. Let's have a look. So oh gosh, just having a little look. Having a look at some conversations here. So Anna Maria says, my brain won't shut up, lol. When I'm trying to enjoy something, the thought of anxiety comes. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? When anxiety is a constant in your life, when the levels of stress hormones are up here and there's almost like a white noise, that buzz of anxiety, it doesn't take very much for the thoughts to come, you know, what if this happens, what if that happens? And so some of the things that you can do is to try and bring yourself to this present moment, to take a moment to breathe and to go, okay, I'm having a nice time here, look where I am, I'm just here and now. The pinned post that I have where I do this is very helpful with that, because it works on lots of different levels to bring you to this moment here and now. So, and it's just a muscle that you need to, you know, we all need to grow. I mean, I find exactly the same thing. I remember once when my son was off in Australia travelling, and I remember I was walking through a field of wheat and it was absolutely glorious. It was beautiful. Everything was fine. And in my head suddenly came, yeah, but what if he's in a car crash? What if this happens? What if that happens? And I stopped in the middle of the field and I said to myself out loud, that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened. You're just in a field and he is in bed in Australia at the moment, you know. And so it's very, very natural and normal that our brain does go to that place, because it's trying to simulate possible worst case scenarios that might happen and trying to work out, okay, what would we do? What would we do? Well, you would deal with it. We all deal with stuff that happens in our lives. All of us watching here and now are survivors, aren't we? We've survived every single event in our life, and here we are. We're still breathing. We're still doing what we need to do. And if it's like Emma Jane and you're just spending the week in your gym jams and drinking coffee, and then that's okay. If you are Jasmine and you're going to go, I'm going to wash my car this afternoon, whatever it is, it's okay. We all have our way of getting through difficult times. Right, let me have a look, see if there's any more questions. Let's see. Thank you so much all for being here. It's so lovely to have you here. We appreciate it all of you being here. And as I say, I couldn't do this without the lovely Lynn 250, Vicky Hodson and Jasmine. They're here to chat with you in the background, to answer any sort of practical questions, and to keep this a safe place. And I'm so grateful for them being here. And it's lovely to see all of you. Let's see. Yeah, so Sultana T says, yes, when I'm relaxed, my anxiety comes. It's so annoying. It's totally, isn't it? I mean, it's almost as though it's like when you go to bed at night and you've had a really busy day and you've managed and it's been fine, and you go to bed and you lie there in the dark and your brain goes ding, and everything comes through, because it's almost as though you've let your guard down, that everything's dark and quiet, and your brain goes, yeah, well, let's just talk about this now. Let's talk about global warming. Let's talk about whatever it is that's causing your anxiety. And so it's very natural. And so there's various techniques. There's the technique which I find really helpful, which is doing a body scan. So what I do is I'm lying there in bed and I tell myself it's okay, I don't need to go to sleep. I'm not going to try and go to sleep. But what I am going to do is I'm just going to be aware of every muscle from the top of my head down, and just sort of like screwing it up, letting it relax and release. Any muscle that I might possibly be able to tighten, just to be aware of it loosening and softening, like moving your tongue so it rests at the bottom of your mouth rather than being stuck to the roof of your mouth. Just being aware of the muscles around your ears relaxing. Sometimes if it takes just massaging here, that can be helpful. Your throat, your neck, all of those things, just doing a body scan, softening and releasing. Most of the time I barely get past my chest before I'm asleep, I don't remember. So that can be helpful. But also looking at your day and thinking, okay, what is going on for me at the moment? What has been happening for me that is potentially difficult at the moment? And what can I do about that? And it might be that you want to write down the things that are worrying you, put them to one side and go, right, I'll deal with those later. So I hope that helps a little bit. Let's have a look. Any more questions? Oh, Elizabeth says, when I need to come down, I look at you, Sarah, on YouTube. That's so good. And I'm so happy that any of my stuff helps. And I came on TikTok, and I just didn't expect anyone to be that interested in me. I really didn't. And so it was such a lovely surprise to understand and to see that there is a need out there, that there are lots of people who are going through really difficult times. And, I think it's hard to get help these days. It's hard to access the help that you really want. And sometimes you just want a bit of support that's a bit positive, I think there's lots of support groups out there, but you have to be a bit careful with them, because sometimes they can be quite negative, like everyone talking about how awful it all is. And so to be in a place where you start thinking, yeah, I could do this and I could do that, taking action to help ourselves by doing things that we love, like self-care, is hopefully a bit different. So I'll clean my glasses so I can actually see now. What did Josh say? So health anxiety, Josh, was that your question? It's flown by, but I've seen a bit of a catch up here. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate you saying that about my voice. So Crazy Josh says, I suffer with health anxiety. Any technique for habituation, please? Sorry for spelling. Don't apologise at all, Josh. Honestly, it's fine. So I've done a few videos on health anxiety. As Lynn says, health anxiety is one of those things. It's a tricky one, because you can get health anxiety for lots of reasons. So maybe something that's happened in the past, either to yourself or to someone else. So your brain has that belief that that thing's going to carry on. It may well be that you actually do have something going on in your present moment, which is making you sort of hyper vigilant about what's going on for you in your body. Or it could be that you're looking to the future and worrying about the future, thinking, oh gosh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And when you're triggered, when that's going on for you, and you're triggered into anxiety, and you get the physical sensations of anxiety, which are just, there's so many of them. You name it, it can be a symptom of anxiety. Then your brain goes, yeah, I told you so. Look, I've got this pain now. That means that I've got this or that or the other. And then it just goes round and round in a vicious circle, really. So I would always say with health anxiety, when you're getting physical symptoms, always, whether you've got health anxiety or not, always go and see your doctor. Just get it checked out. And it's their job to help you. So I don't care how many times you go. They should be able to recognise that you need their reassurance and help. But also with health anxiety, what I would say is if you can, try and access the help of a therapist, because they're the people who can look at where has this come from, what's happening for you really, because all of us are unique. We all have our own individual reasons for why we're feeling a certain way. So they can help you reframe what the trigger point was of the way that you're feeling. So I hope that helps a little bit. And as I say, on my YouTube and also on the grid, there's stuff about health anxiety. So let me have a little look. As I say, it's recorded, the actual sort of me on the screen is being recorded, and then it's on YouTube. I will put it on YouTube at some point. Let's have a look. So Ems says, OCD is an anxiety disorder. Have you got any tips for helping with it? So I've worked with a few people with OCD, and it is such a horrible thing to have, because it's almost like, I sort of liken it to trying to push water uphill. Like you think you've got it and you're pushing it and it's all okay, and it will find another way to manifest itself. So I think that working on your levels of well-being can be really, really helpful. Creating an environment of safety by using self-care, self-management, that can be really helpful, so that your levels of adrenaline and cortisol are down here. Looking at, the general advice for working with OCD is a CBT approach, and there is actually a specialist OCD unit in the QE2 hospital in Welwyn Garden City. So that's for over 18s only, but that's quite an interesting thing to know. What I would say is the way that I've always worked with OCD is to help with the anxiety, to bring that down, to look at where this has come from, whether it's come from a particular significant emotional event, and to use the delaying tactics to begin to differentiate what is OCD and what is me. So to be able to go, okay, that compulsion that I have, the obsession, that is the OCD. It's not actually me. And to be able to go, okay, so if I don't do that thing, it's going to be okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delay doing it. So you give yourself time. So you're not saying, right, I have to stop cold turkey doing whatever it is that you're doing, whatever rituals or so on you're doing. And there's so many different types of OCD. Then what you're doing is you're doing gently. So you're training your brain that it's okay. If I just delay for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, however long, and then I'm going to go and do something else positive and creative instead. And then if I still feel the need to do that thing, then I will do it. So it's a long, slow process, and it's a case of evidencing that. So every time you do it, you delay. What did you do? Were you successful? So yeah, I hope that helps a little bit. Trish, lovely Trish. It's so nice to see you here. Oh gosh, so Trish says, I've got an ultrasound on my kidney transplant this Sunday, Sarah. A bit nervous. Oh, bless you. Well, I think that's completely normal and natural to feel a bit nervous, Trish. And I suppose it's about, what are you nervous about? Is it actually the technique of having the ultrasound? Is it going into the hospital? Is it the potential result that the ultrasound might give you? So I think that's quite an interesting thing to do, is to be curious about that. So what is it that's making you feel nervous? And then work on that particular thing. So there can be practical things that you can do. So some of the techniques that I share, the bringing yourself to the moment, the breath techniques, maybe it's, if it's possible, is it possible to bring someone with you to support you when you're going for the appointment? And if you're looking at it thinking, well, I'm really worried about what the potential result of the scan might be, then again, it's normal to have that fear, and to be able to, as much as you possibly can, maybe write it down. And what I tend to do is I'll write things down that are worrying me, put them in an envelope, seal it, and just put it to one side, because I ask myself the question, how does this serve me, worrying about this? It doesn't really serve me, because either the result will be fine or the result will not be so fine, in which case that's the next step that I'll move on to and I'll ask for help with, because you're not alone in this. So kidney function dropped a lot and going back on dialysis. And I didn't see let me see if I can look at breathing. Breathing would be good. So yeah, so perhaps do that. Just some breath techniques would be really good. This technique. Also, you could maybe do a little bit of tapping. So that 10-minute tapping video might be helpful for that. So, even though I'm going in for dialysis, or even though I'm having my ultrasound, and I'm scared about it, I know that, whatever it is that would feel right for you, and just go through each of the tapping points, just acknowledging the fear that you feel, but beginning to be curious about where you can go with that actually, do you know what, you're being looked after by really great professionals, that they know what they're doing, that nothing has happened yet, all is safe and well right now. Hopefully, well, it might not be all safe and well right now, I realise that, but just because this thing is happening doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go down that route of everything going wrong. So I hope that helps a little bit, Trish. I hope so. Oh, okay. Sai, you've been muted. No, I don't think... Oh, hang on a second. So let me see what's going on here with Sai. Sorry, thank you for following me. Let's have a look. And you haven't annoyed anyone? No, Sai, don't worry. I think you asked some really good questions. You are always welcome back. I hope you're still here to see us, to say, to know that you haven't annoyed anyone, Sai. So, okay, let's have a look. And thank you ever so much, Jasmine and Lynn, for being so lovely to Sai. It's all good. It's all good. Oh my goodness, Trish, it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday for Sunday. I hope that it all goes really well. Gosh. Let's have a look. So Angel Kate, you are so right. There are so many comments, and I always feel really bad that I can't answer all of them. But let me have a look at yours. I'm gonna see. Any advice for anxiety, vertigo? Had it for 3. I'm not sure how long that is going to be. Let me write. Anxiety, vertigo. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's So just having a wee look at any of these comments. Okay. Do you know what, Seka Anna, Atomic Habits on Your Bookshelf? I love that book. So many people comment on Atomic Habits. It just must be that thing that just sticks out to people. It's such a good book. You're absolutely right. Yes. You're not the first one to have commented on it. Oh, now I think it's Kiefer. That's how Kiefer, right? Is that how you pronounce your name? Let's see. I always feel on edge. Okay, I'm going to come to you. And Angel Kate. Let's see. I'm going to come to you. Right. So Angel Kate was asking about vertigo with anxiety. So it's a tricky one. I've not got masses of experience with this, and I've worked with people who have vertigo, and that makes them very anxious. So it can be a thing where, you know, maybe you've had something like labyrinthitis, maybe you've got an inner ear problem, and so vertigo is where your balance goes, and it can be very difficult. It can make you feel sick. It can make you feel very unsteady on your feet, and dizzy. It's not a nice thing. What I would say, I think the approach that I'd have is to always get it checked out medically, so you know that it is actually nothing medically wrong with you. And so, and then once that's sorted out, then what I would do is, again, working on, you know, what was going on just before this started. I was working with someone a while ago, actually, and I said to them, and I always ask this question, and it's something that you can ask yourselves, no matter what's going on for you. I always say, so what was happening in the time leading up to you feeling the way that you're feeling? And people, inevitably, they have that light bulb moment of, oh my God, there was that thing that happened, or, oh, you know, and actually what's happened is that things build up, and then the thing perhaps can be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and then you get pushed into this anxiety as a protective response. So I would look at what's going on before the vertigo happened, and look at, okay, is there a significant emotional event to work on there? Because once the brain knows that actually you're safe and that thing has finished and it's not happening anymore, and we can reframe it, then there's no need for the protective response. And if the vertigo is part of the protective anxiety response, then that will tend to disappear along with the rest of the anxiety. Because if there's no reason for fight or flight, if there's no reason for protection because you are safe, then there's no reason for the feelings that you're feeling. So I hope that makes sense. Kiefer Wright said that you're always on edge, Kiefer. And I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I think probably you're not alone in that. I imagine a lot of people feel on edge a lot of the time. So I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Excuse me a minute. I've found since my boys were born, I don't think I ever drink a hot cup of coffee or tea. I don't know, maybe I just talk too much. But anyway, I don't mind them cold. Anyway, so yes, that sense of being always on edge, what that is, it tends to be the levels of adrenaline within your system, because you know, you get that sort of buzz, or you can get a woof in your tummy, that kind of feeling. That will be the release of adrenaline. And so the question is, what can you do to reduce that? And I would say that always the starting point is self-care. I know, obviously, you know, for me, self-care, self-management, creating an environment of safety for yourself, an environment that is as pleasurable and fun and enjoyable as possible, that's the stuff that we can do by ourselves without the help of any professionals whatsoever. There's lots and lots of stuff on my page, on my grid, which shows things like, you know, breathing techniques, visualization techniques, practical physical techniques, and all of those hopefully will make a big difference to you. However, there comes a time when, you know, a therapist is the way to go. You know, whatever model of therapy would suit you, because they're the people that can help you with your individual stuff that you've got going on for you. So I would say start with the simple things, the self-care, the self-management, the breath techniques, the visualization, the being curious about your environment, about what is going on for you. What is the thing? When do you feel anxious? When do you not feel anxious? When are the times where you feel chilled? When are the times where you feel really stressed? And can you change those environments at all? So I hope that helps a little bit. Let's see. Geek says, just tuned in while you're talking about vertigo, dealt with it for years. Do you record these lives? And Jasmine, thank you very much, has already beaten me to it and said yes. So all of these lives go onto my YouTube. The link is on my profile page. It's Sarah Aries Therapy. So there's loads of lives recorded on there. And what I've started doing as well is, because of what was going on in the States, and, you know, the government here has banned TikTok on government phones, and, you know, there's lots of debate around TikTok. So what I've started doing is every single video that I do, I put it on my YouTube account, so that even if TikTok gets banned for, you know, if it's a sudden thing, is all of a sudden you go onto TikTok and it's not there anymore. Or if you can't find my videos for whatever reason, TikTok is a bit weird sometimes, isn't it? The old algorithm. I had someone the other day who said, I follow you, but you've not been on my FYP page for a while. Well, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, then it's always going to be there, isn't it? You can pop on there whenever you fancy. So, yes, hopefully that's helpful. Let's have a look. So, and I don't know if you saw this, Geek, but Angel Kate 13 said to you, how did you deal with vertigo? So maybe follow each other and have a little chat about that. That might be helpful. Let's have a look. Okay, Jane 1969 says, I get stressed as soon as I have to go out. I try and find ways to avoid places. I have CPTSD. So yes, let's see, it's difficult, isn't it? I think that, again, that's something that is probably best worked with a therapist. I think that's something that maybe was going to be specific to you, and so that's what I would have a look at, is look at practical ways of being able to get out, small steps, you know, maybe finding someone who either does EMDR or AMDR, someone who's trauma trained, and can help you in a way that can begin to sort of widen your world. Because when we're in protection, when we're suffering from something in the way that you are, it's totally normal to your nervous system is going, we don't want to go outside. Why would we? Because it's not safe. That's not necessarily true, but it will feel true to you. And I think perhaps working with someone specifically to help you might be the way to go there. Anna Maria says, do you have any advice on dissociating or brain fog during anxiety, like I'm in a dream and lose control? Let's have a look. Dissociate. I'm just writing it down so I can write it on my YouTube. So Anna Maria, it's dissociation and having that brain fog is really really tricky. So dissociation is as you say, it's that sense of being it's sort of very distant from life, very like removed, almost like you're just in another universe looking down on what's happening in your life, and it is a protective response, and it will be happening for different reasons for different people. Again, doing things that give you the release of the hormones that tell your nervous system that you're safe can be really helpful. And structure can be really helpful. So structure in our day can be massively helpful, because when we're anxious, we're sort of clawing about looking for something to make us feel safe. And with dissociation in particularly, then that can be really helpful, because it's almost like providing a scaffolding for our day, so that we know that, okay, my structure is I get up, I get out of bed. The next thing that I do is I'm going to walk to the bathroom and I'm going to have a shower. In my shower, I'm going to do this, this and this. So it's like you are swaddled tightly by structure, if that makes sense. And our nervous system begins to feel, okay, I am in control of this. And then you can become more associated within your body. Also practicing stuff like breath work, being in your body, stuff like, I don't know, potentially yoga. I'm not 100% sure on that, but being aware of your body can be really helpful. There's a technique, if you look on my breath techniques, which is the balancing breath, that can be helpful, of joining body and mind. I hope that helps a little bit. And the thing about brain fog is that brain fog can be part of dissociation, but it can also be part of the fact that the blood that would normally be flowing to your prefrontal cortex and to the parts of your brain that deal with working memory, speech and language, that kind of thing, that is seen as a luxury. Speech and language, working memory, those are more part of the more modern part of our brain, and so they're seen as a luxury. So the blood is taken away from them, diverted to our big muscles, so they're not functioning in this way that they normally would. And that's why when we're anxious, we can feel like we can't find our words, or we're just mumbling, so that there can be two separate things, but always by lowering the levels of adrenaline and cortisol in our system, that can be really helpful to us. So I hope that is helpful to you. Let's have a look. Angel Kate, so you said, I've seen doctors on tablets but not helping. What I would say is go back and say that you need to see someone to talk to. I think doctors at the moment are totally overwhelmed. The NHS is totally overwhelmed with the number of people that are suffering with mental health issues. And the easiest thing for them to do is to give people antidepressants, because that is going to be hopefully providing breathing space for that person. But I mean, I would never dream of giving advice about medication, because I'm not a medically trained doctor. However, I feel that the combination, that there has to be at some point in the treatment some sort of talking therapy, so that you can work out what's going on, why is this happening, what can you do about it. So I would say go back and say you need to talk to someone, you need to see someone who can help you with this. I hope that helps a bit, Angel Kate. So we are very close to finishing. It's 14:57 on my clock. So we are heading towards the end. Thank you ever so much to all of you who've been here. Thank you ever so much, Lynn250, Vicky Hodson, Jasmine. I just love the fact that you give your time. I really appreciate you keeping this a safe space and answering questions, being, practically looking after this space. So I wouldn't be able to do it without you. And thank you to all of you who have been here, whether you've been here for 5 minutes or whether you've been here for the whole hour. I so appreciate you being here, being part of this community. It's so lovely to have you. If you've only managed to pop in for a bit, then do not fear. I will upload it to my YouTube channel as soon as possible. If you have a look on my profile, there's a link tree which takes you through to all sorts of links from everything from my YouTube to free resources on my website through to the Quest Institute. If you fancy training to do what I do, then why not? What's stopping you? You could absolutely train to be a a QCH therapist like I am. So yeah, so lots of free resources through there. So go and have a look if you haven't already. Just to remember that with the downloads and things like that, I actually email you personally with it. So if it doesn't come straight away, don't worry, it will come to you. It's just that maybe I'm out for a walk or I'm having a bath or something and I've not seen the email pop through. So, oh, Julie Reese-Diva, it's so lovely to see you. Julie's joining us from California, so hopefully, Julie, this is a bit of a better time for you than like 1-2 o'clock in the morning. It's so nice to see you here. I'm really glad that you like the 10-minute calm videos. That's excellent. And Angel Kate, well, I'm so glad you found our live too. Hopefully it's been a bit helpful, and I hope that you get things sorted. Come back to us and let us know how you're doing, because we always, all of us as a team, love to hear how people are doing. And quite, often we get people coming back and saying, oh, I tried that thing and it's going well, or I got the job, and that kind of stuff. So it's really lovely. Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, Vanessa, you're in England. Excellent. Nice to see you. And Ems, it's a pleasure, a real pleasure. Thank you so much to everyone who has liked this live. I mean, I didn't mention it today. I kind of forgot. I got carried away. But the more you tap the screen and like the live, the more the algorithm sends it to other people, because the algorithm goes, oh, lots of people are liking this live, and therefore it must be interesting, and so it sends it to more people. And so if ever you come to these lives and if you fancy having a little session of tapping on the screen and sending some likes, then that's always much appreciated. Follows, sharing to yourself, sharing to a WhatsApp group, sharing wherever. If you think that this might help people, then feel free. It's much appreciated. And that's it. Everything is free, so don't feel you have to subscribe or anything like that. It's all free. And if you fancy coming back, we'll do another one next Friday. I haven't decided the time yet, but I will do a little video letting you know the time, and it will always be on my profile page. So if you're not sure if there's a live coming up, have a look on my profile page and it will say live event, and you can register for it for free so that it will send you a reminder. So I think probably time to say, I've just seen Sam's comment and Lynn saying, yes, Sarah is very, very happily married for the last 30 years. Yes. So anyway, that's totally made me digress. But thank you all so much for being here. It has been absolutely lovely. The hour has flown by. I hope you have a lovely weekend, whether you are celebrating Easter or Passover or Ramadan or whatever it is, whether you're just having a nice quiet time with a big bar of chocolate and a film. Just you take care of yourselves. And I'm going to just stay just for a few moments just to sort of say goodbye to people individually. But I will see you next Friday. Take care of yourselves, and thank you for being here. Ta-ra. Bye-bye, Heather. Have a lovely weekend. Emma Jane, thank you. Oh, I'm glad that this is a good time. Happy weekend. Happy Easter, Elizabeth Malmros. It's so lovely to see you on here. Thank you for all your support. Julie's Diva, you take care. Anna Maria, it's been lovely seeing you. I hope you're all right and you have a nice weekend. Emma Jane, you take care. So nice to see you on here. Hope next week is an easier week for you. Debbie Rivard, nice to see you. Take care. Oh, Geek, have a nice Easter. You take care. Big hugs to you, Elizabeth. Jasmine, have a lovely weekend. Have fun washing your car. I hope it's nice and sunny. It is here. I might go for a walk in a minute. Oh, GSW70, nice to see you. Have a lovely Easter, you too. Lynn, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you had a nice lunch. You take care. And Vicky Hodson, if you're still here, then sending my love to you. Okay, everyone. See you next week. Oops. Take care. And yeah, big hugs.